In this tutorial, we're going to learn about how to add Bootstrap to our website. Bootstrap allows us to build websites faster and make use of some powerful CSS and JavaScript capabilities in a framework that is popular across the internet. It's currently in version 5.1.1. The first recommendation that I make besides this tutorial is to check out the getbootstrap.com website. Lots of examples. The documentation is there, information about the various components and capabilities that are all part of the framework. This tutorial, we're going to get right into it and how to add it to existing web page that I have, and then we're going to do a quick modal form demonstrating the power of Bootstrap and showing you how we can leverage the framework to give a rich modal form design to our site. So I have here in my VSCode workspace just a sample index HTML page, and we're going to bring in the Bootstrap library. And the way I'm going to approach this is we're going to use the CDN for Bootstrap, the Content Delivery Network, instead of actually coding everything ourselves and bringing in the actual entire framework. We'll leverage the CDN in this case, so that way we do not have to host all of the files related to the Bootstrap framework. We could also utilize some extensions in VS Code that enable the use of Bootstrap to be a little bit faster. In this tutorial, I'm not going to add any extensions. The best ones in VS Code currently are around Bootstrap 4, as Bootstrap 5 is still fairly new and there's some limited extensions at this stage, but they do exist. You could consider adding those in just like any other extension. Well, what we're going to start with is we're going to first add in a meta tag for viewport. And the reason we're going to do this is because with Bootstrap, we're going to design for mobile first. And what we're going to do is right above any existing CSS that we may have in our site that we're working with, we're going to bring in the meta for the viewport. And then the next thing we're going to do is bring in the actual Bootstrap CSS CDN CSS library. So we're going to import that. And you can see this here in my code, but you can find this in the Get Bootstrap site examples as well. So we're going to bring it in here, and actually I will show you on the actual Bootstrap site. If you go to the Get Started section here, you'll quickly see the CSS that we're going to bring in. And then next thing we're going to do is we're going to bring in the JS component. And there's two options for that. We can bring it in with one script tag, or we can bring it in with two separate script tags. It's the way that the CDN allows us to do it, because there's actually two components to the JS part. There's a popper component and a Bootstrap component itself. So what we're going to actually end up doing is bringing in both of them separately in our example, and you'll see me put those in to a script section. So down here below my style sheets, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to bring in the two script tags that I just talked about, and we'll just paste those in here. And it's really just a personal preference if you want to do it with just one script tag or both. By having them separate, you can determine if you even need to use both depending upon what components of the Bootstrap framework that you're leveraging. But in this case, I'm going to bring in both in the case I want to end up using all capabilities that cross both libraries. So now that I've brought it in with the three aspects of the CSS link and the to JavaScript links, I can start leveraging components of the Bootstrap framework. So in my main section here, I'm just going to get rid of my existing paragraph code, and I'm going to create a modal form. And the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to create a button here to launch the modal form first off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paste in some code so that it's a little bit faster for us and just explain it to you. So this button code, you're going to see that it's the HTML5 button tag, but on it we're going to have some classes and we're going to have some additional attributes. These classes that we're bringing in and these attributes that we're bringing in are all part of the Bootstrap library. So you'll see that button success, d-table, my-5, mx-auto. If you were to check the Bootstrap documentation, it would tell you what those are going to do for us. And the same thing with these attributes for modal, and a modal form is for the target. So as you see me add in additional tags or HTML form tags, you're going to see that this is going to have a lot of classes on it, and these classes are all going to basically be leveraging the Bootstrap library. So again, I'm going to paste all of this in here for interest of time, and you can see it. So it's basically an HTML form that I already had put together prior to this. So if I bring it over into my HTML page, it's a basic HTML form. It's asking for a username and password, asks you to be remembered with a checkbox. So you'll see the labels and you'll see the input fields, all part of the HTML5 language that you've seen or you should be familiar with. But as you look closer and dive in, you'll see the classes for form controls. You'll also see classes for things like text danger, far as the various aspects are all coming from the Bootstrap language in the framework that's available there to us. And you'll just see how much faster this allows you to create rich experiences and also enable them to be mobile friendly and designed for mobile first and provide that responsiveness. So if you look in closer, you can see the various aspects, the classes, we have a success button and such. So if I now run this and show it in a browser, which we'll do, we'll go up to run and I'll start it without debugging. And what we're going to end up seeing here when I bring my browser over is that button to launch the modal form. Okay, so if I click it, you'll see that the library allows me to create this modal form laying over my page, and it's very cool and functional. And I did very little coding to actually create this experience. I essentially utilize my HTML5 knowledge of the buttons and the input fields and checkbox and such that I wanted, but I didn't code any JavaScript. I didn't code any advanced CSS or anything to make this happen. I utilized, like I said, the components of the Bootstrap framework to create this rich experience. And as you can see here with screen sizing, it resizes nicely, provides that mobile first design component and all. So that's, again, a quick approach to adding Bootstrap in to your web page and doing it the way with bringing in the library files. Now you can bring the entire set of packages down and use NuGet to import them into your project if you'd like, but I like to leverage the CDNs, and that's another benefit that you don't take on the bandwidth of bringing them down. You'll also notice a little thing about bringing these in from the CDN. They're bringing in the minimized versions of them, which means it just compresses the files and the libraries to be lightweight so they load fast and all when the visitor comes to your site that is using Bootstrap. But you'll see there's a lot of value in Bootstrap overall that you can leverage. And this tutorial is just designed to show you how to quickly get started with it and leverage it yourselves. If you have questions, please feel free to put them in the comments or reach out to me directly from my website, professorwolfe.com. Please be sure to subscribe and follow for future videos on web development, databases, and other technology topics. Thank you.